Hi there. Welcome to 60 Matthews. I'm Matthew, and today I want to talk about working and the right livelihood. Right livelihood is a part of the Buddhist philosophy of the Eightfold Path. There's also right speech, right intention, right action, right concentration. There's obviously a lot that I can talk about here, but today I want to focus on right livelihood. Basically, that means the occupation that is right for you, and not just the one thing that you love to do, but what is in balance between your service to the world and the world's service to you. This is something that I've struggled with ever since I got my first job at 16. Most of my jobs have been in the food industry, and in fact, I think that everyone's first job should be in food service, because it's humbling and it teaches you work ethic. Whenever I was a manager at the coffee shop, we would hire these like 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and some of them had never had a job before. A lot of them just didn't have work ethic, and a lot of them would put up a fight because they just didn't want to do something, and I was like, but you have to. But I had to realize that they had never had a job before. I had to learn that that's not just something that's like built into us, that we all have to learn work ethic and learn how to work and why we should work. And food service makes you work hard. It teaches you efficiency, proficiency, and why you should care about doing a good job. I loved managing the coffee shop, and it got me closer to right livelihood. I felt like I was doing a great service to the world, and it felt like it was serving me well too. The coffee shop served everyone from all walks of life. We had business people coming in, we had college kids, we had poor people, we had people coming in of all colors and all religions. We truly were serving the community. And it was nice to socialize and talk to people and share with people and connect with people. I loved standing behind the espresso machine, and while I'm perfectly crafting their latte, I would have some really incredible conversations and meet some really, really awesome people. But also, I was a legal drug dealer. Coffee and tea are weird products. Like if you went up to your friend and said, man, I need a beer right now, or I need a cigarette, or heroin, they would probably look at you weird and probably judge you a little bit. But if you went up to them and said, man, I need a cup of coffee right now, they would say, oh my God, me too. I would see people before they got their coffee, and sometimes they weren't that nice. I have a friend who had to cut caffeine out of his life entirely. Coffee, Cokes, even chocolate, because he did not like the person he became whenever he didn't have those things. So this is one of my main issues about my right livelihood when it came to being a barista and a cafe manager. As much as I continue to love coffee and tea, and as much as I think coffee and tea builds and connects society, still making money off of people's addictions just didn't feel right. So far, all of this has been about my jobs and not necessarily my career. All my life, I wanted to be an actor. I knew that at a very early age, and I was committed to that for most of my life. Whenever I was in high school, I got cast as the lead in The Little Shop of Horrors. I think it was the last show of the season, and after this, I was gonna go off to college to become a professional actor. I remember being backstage on the opening night of the performance. I had the usual nervous jitters and sickening feeling in my stomach because I was just about to go out on stage in front of a lot of people. This wasn't my first time dealing with that nervousness. It happened before every single show. And so I started to wonder and question, is this really what I wanted to do? Was I gonna be okay with this every time I went on stage? And then I went out on stage and I became Seymour. And I was so comfortable. I was so energetic. I was so enlivened. And then I knew this was what I wanted to do. And then whenever I went off to college to become a professional actor, I got cast in a touring company through the college. Every Friday we would load up our set into a van, drive to some school around Alabama, and perform this hour-long show for kids. Load up the set again, and then head back to the college and unload it into the warehouse. Sometimes the calls were at 4 or 5 in the morning. Sometimes they would be later on in the day, but usually they were around 6 or 7. But I absolutely loved doing this. Granted, I had a really wonderful cast surrounding me, and we had a really good show. And it was the first time that acting really felt like a job. Because most of the time with performances, you have line-throughs, and then you have rehearsals, and then you have blocking, and then you have tech week, and then you perform the show, you break the show down, and then you move on to the next one. But with the tour, we knew that show. We had done it so many times that we didn't need rehearsals, we didn't need line throughs, and even though we could all recite our own lines and everyone else's, it still had this fresh and creative energy to it. And then, me in college struggled. For a lot of different reasons, I stopped pursuing theater as a career. It became difficult for me to put a price tag on my performance. As much as I loved and was devoted to becoming the greatest actor that I could ever be, you can be the greatest actor in the world, but if you don't find work, then you won't be able to eat or pay your bills. And that is what I struggled with. I hated auditioning and I didn't know how to network myself. And also, acting to me just felt very like self-serving. Like as much as I was having a great time, I didn't know what service I was providing to the rest of the world. I mean, you could argue entertainment, but that wasn't enough for me. So I struggled and I continue to struggle a lot with Right Livelihood. I think that I was close with theater. I learned that I love telling stories, which is why I now write books and make YouTube videos. And I also know the value of telling stories. That's how we learn, that's how we teach, that's how we share, that's how we connect. And so something along these lines is my right livelihood. It is what keeps me in balance with how I serve the world and how the world serves me. It's the perfect balance of give and take. As of now, I'm still in the food industry. I love my job, but I'm making a big effort to focus on 60 Matthews and make this my career, along with the world of Keerlith and all that that involves. I'm working on putting together a Patreon account and making some really cool merchandise for 60 Matthews and for Keerlith. So if you have any ideas for any of that or something you'd like to see, leave them in the comments down below. I hope you can find your right livelihood. I know occupations and careers are hectic right now with the whole pandemic thing going on, but maybe it will allow you to reflect on what you truly want to do. Do you want to go back to your job? Is there something that you've just always wanted to do but just never taken the chance? Maybe now's your chance. But that's all I have for this week. I hope you try to find your right livelihood. Or if you have a job that serves you and serves the world equally, especially one that is deemed essential right now, then cherish it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.